Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. And welcome back once again to the HCW channel. And welcome back to, I guess, part 2 of the, again, for lack of a better title, Hot or Not series, where we rank, in this edition, the NXT roster and look ahead to their 2025s and what their career trajectory will be. Will it be up high in the sky, or will it be down low with the flow? I couldn't think of a good run for that one. Anyway, as the last time, I would not be here alone because that would be a pretty boring video. However, I am joined by the person who was here in part 1. I am joined by one of the foundations of this very channel. And I am joined by Frozzy. Frozzy, how you doing?
Hello, I am good. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. We spent about almost a full hour just bullshitting before this recording.
And I knew you'd be the first to swear. After telling me not to swear, straight away.
Did I swear?
DP's there.
I said bullshit, didn't I?
Yeah, and now you've said it twice. But yeah. Oh, God. Get them off the air. Boo this man. Boo this man. Shocking stuff. Shocking. But yeah, we spent an hour chewing fat, and then we spent 2 hours doing the first part. So, because I think originally this was all meant to be one video, wasn't it? We were like, yeah, this ain't gonna work.
That was the idea. Yeah, I thought. I don't know why. In my head, I was like, this is an hour and a half max. Like,
yeah.
Turns out no, it's around 4 hours altogether, but in 2 videos.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. Get the second half done, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they turn out.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, these are all predictions. These are not gospel truth. We're not telling you the future, as it were. So everything that we,
if you disagree with us, you are wrong.
That too. But if you do disagree, feel free to comment that below, and we will proceed to ignore it. With that in mind, let's get back to it. So we're going to go back a little bit again to the first section, in that we missed one of the D's on the list. And as a fellow D person myself, DP, let's look at.
Not like you to miss a D, DP.
I know, right? We're looking at, what's his name on? Dion Lennox.
What are you going to say? The Blade?
Who's that? I don't know who that is. I only know of Ruff.
Yes. For some reason, as soon as you said the name, I was just like, oh my god.
Do you want to start, or should I start?
You can start with him.
Cool. That sounded really contemptuous.
It really sounded worse.
Yeah, you better fucking start with that guy, Jesus. Dion is someone who is unfortunately embroiled in a very bad storyline right now in NXT. And it sucks because it's really his first storyline in NXT. I don't really see him getting a title or anything like that, but I do think he'll get more in-ring exposure and hopefully some more storylines that actually progress him further than what he currently is at. So my prediction is 2025 for Dion Lennox is pretty much getting out of this storyline he's in currently and moving on to better things in NXT.
Yeah, I think he's not bad at all. And like you said, he's just stuck in a storyline that's not great at the minute, and hopefully in 2025 they'll just push him a little bit more towards a bit of like mid-cardness. Because at the minute I just feel like he's just but the potential's there for him to maybe even hold a title towards the end of 2025, maybe build him up a little bit. I mean, if everyone's going to hold a title by the end of 25, who we've said across these 2 videos, then they're going to have to create a lot of new belts. But that's some of these people do have that potential where towards the end of that year, you could be looking at them as potential champions if they're built right and they've got the right stuff. At the minute with Dion Lennox, we don't really know what he's got until they try. So hopefully towards the end of the year, that's where we'll find out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you alluded to, we said already that a lot of people are going to be moving on to titles next year. So there's going to be a lot of hot potato of these titles clearly next year.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going straight forward into the second half of the alphabet and going with the letter M for Mike. But we're not looking at a Mike, we're looking at Miles. I'm looking at Miles Bourne of the No Quarter Catch crew.
Yes, so Miles Bourne is a very good wrestler and he's in a good spot with the No Quarter Catch crew at the minute, but probably going to be a victim of like every other person who isn't the main focus of a group falls into, is that once that group ends, where do they go? How does it look? Can they cope on their own? Miles Bourne's got the talent, but has he got the character that's going to then shine through and be like, yeah, I'm going to be good on my own. I can have title runs and things like that. That we don't know because they've never done it. Again, classic case in NXT of you don't know until they try and make the character work on its own. But as a wrestler, he's good, and he's in a good spot with No Quarter Catch crew. But what happens when they finish? Who knows?
Yeah, precisely. I think it's always that same thing that we've said before with groups in particular, in that the NQCC are no different from the D'Angelo family in this sense of speaking. In that Miles is probably as well like the tertiary character of the NQCC. You've got obviously the leader in Charlie, you've got the character in Ren, and you've got the pound for pound best wrestler of like the new class in NXT, Tavian Heights. So Miles is just sort of there for now.
Yeah.
I will say, like, my level of respect for him went up recently. I wasn't aware he was hard of hearing or had hearing difficulties. So when it pointed out to me, like, my mind was sort of like
That's new on me as well. Like, I've learned that live on this video. I did not know that.
Because you know, in promos, he's always like, "Huh? What?"
Yeah.
I thought that was him just not paying attention.
Yeah.
And it turns out that's actually him playing on the fact that he is hard of hearing.
No way.
Yeah. So the fact that he's doing a sport like this as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it relies a lot on hearing and talking.
Yeah, of course it does.
So immense respect for the guy, and I hope big things are coming for him. But
yeah,
I think next year is going to be more the same for the NQCC. Really, I think he's not necessarily a focal point of that group right now. I think he could be with time down the line, but as of right now, it's Charlie, Ren, and Tavian, and he's just sort of the kid.
I genuinely thought you were going to say he could hold the title towards the end of 2025.
Everyone could. But speaking of titles, actually, we are moving on now to the N section. And we're going to just kick things off with the other half of the current NXT Tag Team Champions, Nathan Frazer. Frazer?
I say Fraser.
I say Fraser because there's no SI in there, but it's just a Z.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nathan is surprisingly very good character as well, but he's also a good wrestler. In my opinion, he needs to transition a bit out of being just the fast flip guy. But it works for what it is with him and Axiom. Fraxium are easily the best tag team in NXT. And it's so personified by them being champions because it makes sense. But going forward, I do want to see, a bit more, maybe some more solo work, and that goes with what I'm going to predict now. for his next year. I think we're going to get more solo Nathan, because I think there's going to be a breakup here, a split at some point in the early part of next year of Axiom. I'd say Axiom turns personally and keep Nathan face, because Axiom has the mask. He can be A Kid again, or be A Man, or whatever. And Nathan can just be like, "What the hell, amigo? You turned on me, amigo." But no, I think there's a good rivalry there for next year. You can build between the pair of them. I don't think any titles. Maybe a Heritage Cup for Nathan, possibly. But that's about as far as I can see him going, solo wise, for next year.
Yeah. I think we agreed, didn't we, when we looked at Axiom, that it's probably the turn's gonna probably happen at New Year's Evil, and they'll have the match at Stand and Deliver Mania weekend. And then if they build that all right, they'll both come out of it looking good, and it'll be interesting to see what happens for them both going forward. I'm with you. Probably don't see championships, like maybe a Heritage Cup, but if Fraser finds more than one way to work and not just be, like you said, the flip guy, he's definitely got a big future. So hopefully this rivalry will do them both good. And yeah, we'll see a big 2025. Even without championships, you can still have a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more with that. So moving on from Nathan Fraser, we are going to the first female of this list. Of this video, sorry, I should say, not this list. It is, of course, the Lioness, Nikita Lyons.
Nikita Lyons is a strange one, because everyone knows her for certain things, don't they? And then you actually forget that she's a good wrestler. I don't think she's bad. She's still, and I think we've said this on when we've looked at a lot of the women that we've reviewed so far, is that a lot of them are just still very green. And that'll only come with the more TV time and stuff that they get. Nikita Lyons, she's been injured as well, hasn't she? So she was away for a little bit. So I think 2025 will just be, I can't remember who we said it about in the previous video. I think it may have been Cora Jade, where it's just like, don't get injured, have a clean run at it, and see where you are at the end of 2025. There's a potential champion in there, but maybe not 2025. Just stay injury free, have some solid matches, and just keep learning the craft. And I think she's got a good future ahead of her.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, for a while, like in my not early NXT, but like in her early NXT days, I was like, I don't see much for her, really. And then she had the feud of Lash Legend, and then that was like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? She's coming to her own. Of course, the injury set her back, but she's come back now, and she's now sort of embroiled herself in a love triangle, a love duo. It's not even a love triangle at this point. I prefer her to stay away from that, but I get that's the character, sort of like a shit stirrer, sort of a vixen, I guess might be the right word for it. Ultimately, though, I agree with you. I don't think there's any titles on the way for her, like this year. Maybe the following year. But right now, I think it's best for her to focus on her in-ring and her character, and just get everything polished up. And then from there, you can look at potentially, North American title, or women's title, because to an extent, she's one of the more experienced women in this roster.
Yeah,
which is crazy to even think about.
Yeah,
she's been there for a few years now, and it's just only now she's sort of doing proper stuff again because of I said she was injured before.
Sometimes you have to find your niche, don't you? Yeah. I think maybe she may have found that now.
She's definitely a better heel than she was a face.
Yeah. There was nothing there as a face. I always like everyone will tell you though that being a face is hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy because you can say and you've got more scope to say stuff as a heel than you have as a face.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's some people are just naturally not good at being good.
Yeah.
Like you have your classic baby faces like John Cena, who could go off and be a fantastic heel, but he was actually a very, very good face. You don't get people that have the ability to do both much anymore. So yeah, it can be hard work. Randy Orton struggled with it for years as well.
Yeah. I mean, like, not to tangent too much, but I firmly believe Cody would be a solid heel in WWE.
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously a company guy. He's like a good PR face guy for them. But I do firmly believe if he was to turn, he'd be a great heel as well.
Yeah, I think that's a discussion for another section of the pod, baby.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So moving on from the Key Alliance, I assume we're okay with skipping past Nico Vance.
Yeah.
You know, Sean Spears' third guy.
We can skip past Sean Spears as well if you want.
We're not there yet. The next one's another bit of a weird one. Noam Dar. Do we want to consider him or?
He's been injured for a lot of time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Noam Dar's a solid character. We can just briefly touch on it. He is a solid character. Another one who needs a 2025 not injured.
Yeah, that's true.
And then maybe if we do this video next year, it'll look a little bit different for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think next year for Noam, obviously you said keep injury free. That's the main thing. Be healthy, be safe. But I don't see Metaphor lasting.
No.
I think the injury, well, not the injury, but I think the time away will prove to be beneficial for Noam personally, and he'll be more of a solo guy going forward.
Yeah.
Because I think they've started branding off Jakara and Lash anyway as their own sort of duo.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think they're considering Noam or Oro as part of the group anymore. So I think...
No, which is fair.
Yeah. So I think Noam definitely just... He comes back next year, probably splits from Metaphor, does his own thing, and he might go over the Heritage Shop again, because that is sort of his baby. So I wouldn't mind that too much.
Yeah, he needs to be probably involved with that more often than he isn't. So
yeah. Did you have any more comment on Noam Dar, or should we move on?
No, we can move on. I think Noam Dar sort of speaks for himself, doesn't he?
I mean, you'd hope they all do.
Hey, some of them don't.
So moving on. Who's starting this one? Is it me or you?
Well, it was Nikita Lyons before this, and I think I started that. So,
so me.
Are we?
Or we can't.
Yeah. I think I started there as well. To be fair, so yeah.
Okay, so I'll start this one then.
Yeah.
And I am pleased to start this one. We're moving on to the O's section.
Almost.
No. Pro wrestling almost, no. That's not a thing anyone should be saying. Regardless of almost hate, though. We're moving on to the O section, and the first person of the O section is Oba Femi. And by God, this man has had the best 2024 in NXT. There's one other person who I consider having a better, or as much as a good 2024 as Oba did. Oba only came in like NXT, like I think it was like the halfway point of the year. This guy has insane matches. He is a great talker because he knows his limit and he knows not to say too much in a certain way, and that pays off well for him because he's a giant character and a giant personality. Oba, I think next year, world title, like world champion throughout the entire year. Like you've got to use the time to build someone, and the only other person who could dethrone an Oba is someone who we'll get into later, but I believe they're moving on. So you need to build that. You need that time to build someone else. So I genuinely think we could be looking at a year-long reign as champion for Overfemi, as the men's world champion.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're getting a big reign out of Oba for the world title, which is good because that means they ain't going to push into the main roster because I really worry about what happens if he goes there. The longer he's in NXT, the better. He'll eventually have to move to the main roster, but we've seen it before with long title reigns that they move to the main roster. It doesn't always go well. But yeah, I completely agree. He's come in. He has absolutely battered everything. Probably exceeded what everyone expected of him. He's in a better place now than if we'd have done this 6 months ago and said, what do we think he's actually going to be when he first came in? None of us would have predicted what he is. So,
absolutely not.
He has exceeded expectations, and yeah, he just needs a hell of a title. And if he gets that in 2025, early 2026, maybe lose it at Stand and Deliver the year after, you've built someone to take it away from him, but you've also given him a platform of having a massive reign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I think it's like, even if you like look at the history of NXT, like I don't think anyone has had a particularly long reign with the men's NXT title. Like you look at like the women's side of things, like there's Asuka's reign, there's Shayna's reign.
yeah.
You know, there's Rhea's reign. Like there's a few reigns there that last a while.
Yeah.
On the men's side of things, I don't think it goes past maybe 6-7 months.
I think Cross was the last one I remember.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. That was why I was like, every time there is a long reign, it doesn't go well, and Cross was who I was thinking.
They Cross hold it for a while.
Please don't carry and cross this guy. I'm sure he did.
I know he was champion, but I didn't think it was that long.
I'm gonna have a look.
So am I. Where is he? Carrying Cross held it for
136 days. Not that long.
Oh, 4 days was the first one.
136 days I got.
Yeah, that's not too long. That's like, what, 4.5 months?
Yeah. Maybe it felt long because it was Cross.
Yeah, the last time someone held a title for about a year was Bron Breakker in his second reign.
Well, I mean, it's not all going well for Breakker either, is it? So.
Not really, no, to be honest. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they go about 7-8 months on average. Like the first title reigns, and the more modern ones are about 3-4 months.
Yeah,
but
no, that's fair.
Oba, I think, full year. That's what he needs to have for the title.
Yeah, it legitimizes everything that he's putting in place now.
Yeah, but it also helps legitimize the title itself as well, not just Oba.
Yeah,
it makes it a true prize to fight for.
Yeah. He's got a big champion who's dominated everything, and he's earned that belt. So whoever beats him is earning the belt.
Absolutely. But yeah, me next year, year-long reign, world title. I don't see anyone else doing it, really.
No.
So moving on next to the into the O's, it is the other part of Metaphor, Oro Mensah.
I'm not, like, we've discussed Metaphor at length here, and yeah, I don't think Oro Mensah, we're pretty sure Noam Dar's going to go off and do his own thing. I don't know what happens here to Oro Mensah, because I think there's 5 of him everywhere in the company. It's just, I don't see anything particularly special. He might be one of those who would benefit going somewhere else for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because once Metaphor are done, there is literally nothing for him.
Yeah, I can't.
That is my opinion, unfortunately. I don't have much else to say, which attests to the fact of what I've said.
Yeah. Oro had signs of life, with the whole Lexus stuff, with the dads and whatever they were arguing about. Then there was his little problem with Ethan Page when Ethan won the title. Other than that, though, he's sort of been just, dare I say, the side character in Metaphor. He was also sort of the bodyguard, lackey of Noam Dar, which didn't really help his case. He was always sort of like, if you want to fight Noam, you can fight Oro first.
Which always meant you were losing, because eventually you're going to get Noam anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I think Oro just needs to spend a bit more time away from NXT for a bit, maybe build his stock and come back stronger. So yeah, 2025 Oro Mensah, TNA.
Potentially. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst place to go.
No.
Ponycraft a bit more and then maybe come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Just spend some time elsewhere and build your character and build yourself. And
it works.
Yeah, it does.
People always think getting released from the big company isn't good. Sometimes it could be the best thing that ever happens to you.
Cody, Drew.
Yep.
Just for 2 right there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're doing solid work now, aren't they? So.
I mean, even Punk. He got released, didn't he? All those, a decade ago.
He's running out to save people from the shower. It's mental.
Exactly. Like FTR.
Rated FTR, actually.
Sorry. So yeah, moving on from Oro Mensah, we go into the R section now. There's no P wrestlers. Literally, there's no P names. So it's
no way.
Cool. So onto the R's. It is, of course, kicking off with the villain himself, Ridge Holland. Ridge, they fumbled him. They fumbled him completely. I don't know. There was so much they could have done with Ridge, and I'm not the biggest Ridge guy whatsoever. I still wince a little if I see him hit that bay-to-bay suplex. Because of obviously the whole Big E incident, but it's just Ridge was doing nothing in NXT. He came back. He said, "Oh, I'm going to retire," and then he was like, "Oh, actually, I'm not going to retire." And then he was with Chase U, and then he broke up Chase U, and now he's finally killed Chase U, and proceeded to not win the world title. And now he's potentially going to fight Tony D'Angelo and lose to him too. I don't know. I think 2025 for Ridge Holland, plain and simple, main roster, go back to where you were. Just go back there. Feud with Pete Dunne for a bit, or Sheamus, or something.
Yeah. I'm also not a big Ridge Holland fan. It's not because of, like we said, you discussed a little bit about the incident with Big E and stuff like that. Like, wrestling's wrestling. Accidents happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to get everything right. And yeah, that's just, it's collateral damage. Not for Big E, obviously, he's probably lost his career, but you can't define him by that. And since then, obviously, no accidents have happened and everything like that, which proves the point that literally just mistakes happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you alluded to, he said he was going to retire, joined Chase U, broke up Chase U, ended Chase U, and then didn't win the world title. and yeah, he's going to be the heel that just gets pinned. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be the heel in everything he does, and he's just going to get. He's going to be there to put people over. That's his 2025 now. On their way to like a North American title shot or a world title shot, they'll probably have to go through Ridge. I think that's his 2025, which isn't a bad career, but I don't know. He's like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, Ridge, Marmite, Holland. I think as well that's the least I wanted. I've wanted to talk about someone so far. As well, like
yeah.
I had high hopes for him after he killed Chase U, and the way he's been treated now, it's just why kill Chase U if that's all you're gonna do with him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chase U, the next on this list is Riley Osborne. Is it me? Is it you or me? Is it me?
I think it's me.
Oh yeah, because I started Oba, so you were Oro, I was Ridge, you're Riley. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do now because of the end of Chase U. I feel like this guy may get lost in the shuffle, poor O'Reilly. Because Chase U was like you associated everyone with them, and now he never built anything outside of Chase U that he can tap into. So now he's just sort of left on the outskirts, and I fear for what will happen to Riley Osborne in 2025 unless they start giving him something. And I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest. I don't... I think he's got the brightest spark of anyone in Chase U. Of the men, so I should say, in Chase U. But... I don't know. Since the breakup of Chase U, we've not seen him at all. We've seen Andre, I think, and we've seen Duke, but we've not seen Riley at all. So it's just a case of what they're going to do with him now, and I honestly think next year he's probably going to be better off somewhere else. I'm not going to say release or anything like that, but I don't know. Go Japan or something, Riley. Just not like Omos. I don't mean like that. I mean, just go somewhere in Japan, hone your craft, come back stronger. Because as I said before, I think he's the brightest spark in Chase U.
Yeah, he had. When you look at pure wrestling ability, it was him. And I think unless there's a reason we're not seeing him, and they are looking to bring him back and repackage and do whatever they're going to do, I would agree that he just needs to go somewhere else for a little bit. But if they got plans for him, great. I just don't think they have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be all for him, honing his craft, as you said, and moving on for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that in mind, we are going to go forward again in still ours, but the final art of the section. Remember when I said that there was someone who I thought had as a better 2024 or as much as a good one as Obafemi?
Yeah.
We're moving on to that person now. It is the current NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. She can't have a bad year. She hasn't had a bad year whatsoever. She came in, won the breakout tournament, was it 2022? 21, whatever it was?
Yeah.
Since then, she's killed it as a face. A little cagey in the middle with the heel turn, but as soon as that settled in, perfect. And her in-ring never changed. Her in-ring kept improving. Not never changed, never stagnated, I mean. Kept improving, she got so much better, and it's weird because she's a veteran and she's 23 or something like that. Insane wrestler, insane talent. Next year, main roster. Probably a world title there.
I hope so, because it's what her wrestling deserves and what her character development deserves is to go to the main roster and be a star. She's got everything there to be that. And we spoke about this about Julia as well, where they come over and they have an aura and stuff like that. I think Roxanne has the aura of being able to go up and appear on main roster TV, and the champion, whoever that be at the time, whether it be Liv or whatever, turn around and be like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble here." That's the sort of thing I think she could do when she debuts on the main.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, she's not had a bad year. She's never had a bad year. And she is an absolutely phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited for her 2025. She will go up, whether that's following Stand and Deliver, because that's where I think she drops the title. And maybe debuts Mania, Raw after Mania.
Yeah, that's a fair enough timeline.
Yeah.
So yeah, Roxanne generally all positive, because how can you not be positive about Roxanne Perez?
Exactly.
Like, if you put money on someone to have a good career, it's Roxy or Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
We will skip past now Saquon Sugars, because he has been injured most of the year, and also he's just not really had many matches on NXT. We will skip past Sarah Schreiber, because she is an interviewer, so her future will be more interviewing. We will skip past Shawn Michaels, because he is the GM of SmackDown of NXT.
You've just said the name, so I know where we're going.
Yeah. Because he's the GM of NXT, and again, his future will be either he's GM of NXT or he's not GM of NXT. Moving on now to Frozzy's most expected person. He's so excited to talk first about this person as well. That we of course have gone to the more relevant Shawn in pro wrestling. It is Shawn Spears. Frozzy, the floor is yours.
What is this, man? Like, seriously, I mean, he wasn't doing very much on the main roster, and then he got released, and he went to AEW when that formed. He hit Cody with a chair, became the chairman for a while, did that gimmick for a couple of months, and went off TV, and was just like, I forgot he even wrestled. Then he clearly got released from there, came back here.
You missed the pinnacle.
That's how good it was.
Him, FTR, and Tully Blanchard.
Yeah. Yeah, but then even then, he was just hitting people with chairs.
It was.
It was the same gimmick.
It was.
It was the same gimmick in the Pinnacle. And then, yeah, he goes back to NXT, gets this gimmick that we're seeing now, and then once this dies out, which won't be long, by the way, he'll get released again. He'll go back to AEW, and the man will forever be in an infinite loop of swapping between the two because he doesn't fit in anywhere. It's ridiculous. This 2025 it needs to be away from any of the major promotions. That is my prediction. Get this man away from NXT. Get him away from AEW and stick him in TNA or something. Like, literally, going at people in TNA with chairs. Yeah, that is my prediction for Shawn Spears. Remember my Cameron Grimes prediction?
Yeah.
Shawn Spears will be gone from NXT by the end of 2025.
Oh no, that's another prediction.
Yeah.
So yeah, the former Ty Dillinger, the former 10 guy, he has had what can only be described as a mediocre career. It's strange because he's a veteran in wrestling. He's got near 20 years of wrestling behind him, and he's just boring.
All mediocre.
He's just boring.
Yeah.
I want to have faith in what he's currently doing, in elevating Josh Briggs, in elevating Nico Vance, and elevating whoever the female person is going to be of that group. But I don't know right now because it's all Hey, we're spooky. Yes, I've been waiting for you. Yes, it's very like Montgomery Burns, but not as villainy.
Yeah.
Sean Spears. Next year, Sean Spears. I don't want to say he's going to be in the loop of AW, because that's not healthy for anyone. Like, for him or the companies that are signing him to go back and forth.
To release. It's not healthy for the fans neither of both companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got Sean Spears.
Oh, wait, no, he's gone again. It's like...
Yeah, it'll be like, why have we got Sean Spears now? Go back.
If you've seen the clip of Simpsons where the granddad goes in the club, sees Bart, like, and he goes and he leaves again. Yeah. That's Sean Spears.
Puts his hat back on, grabs his walking stick, out he goes.
That's Sean Spears in AEW. He comes in, he's like, oh, no, I'm back now.
Yeah. So before we do move on from Sean Spears, you mentioned before there's going to be a female in that group. Who do you think that's going to be?
So they've been teasing Izzy Dame, or Tatum Paxley, Gigi Dolan, or maybe even Shotzi. However, I think they're going left field because it's very WWE booking to show you one thing and then do something else completely. So I think Kalani Jordan.
Do you not think they're going to bring his wife back in?
Who's his wife?
Peyton Royce.
I forgot. No, I think she's fine doing what she's doing, which I think sporadic indie wrestling. I think she's doing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. To be fair, I'm saying that I feel like they're expecting again. I don't know though.
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like, I don't know where they'd fit in the current scheme of WWE. The Iconics or the Inspiration.
Well, you wouldn't.
Or...
You don't bring both of them, do you? You just bring her, and then you have them as the couple.
I guess you could do that. Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a thought that maybe they could.
I'm not hyped by the idea of it, but
no, but it's something. At least Sean Spears won't be going around hitting people with chairs anymore.
I mean, he might still get her to do it.
I mean, it'd probably be better, but
but I think Kalani's been showing a bit of a more unhinged side recently on TV.
Yeah.
So I think with that in mind, she might do the turn with Sean Spears and then explore the heel side a bit more.
Okay.
Of course, could be completely wrong, and it is, as you said, Peyton Royce. Like,
can you imagine?
I mean,
you heard it here first.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's on recording now, so it's on tape. So moving on, we're gonna skip past Shiloh Hill because I think he's only had 1 or 2 matches on NXT TV, and the rest of it's on Level Up for him. Moving on to, I'm not even sure this wrestling counts as NXT. Personally, okay. So moving on, it's Shotzi. Do they count as NXT? Did they just come back?
They've just been sort of flip-flopping as well, haven't they? Like between main and NXT anyway.
Yeah.
What I would say about Shotzi is that she's been around forever.
Yeah, that's fair.
And still hasn't really done much, whether that be injury or they've just had nothing for her. I do feel like, in a similar vein, she just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's a fair point as well. Yeah, she has had injuries as well.
Yeah, if she stays healthy, then she'll get better. I think the character's there for her. She could be a very good character, but she's not been able to be on TV long enough for the character to transition properly to TV and fans get behind her.
Yeah. So
I think at the minute she gets cheered because she comes down in a tank. Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
So she's had 2 matches on TV on NXT. Before that, she was last on TV in February of this year.
Yeah.
And that was on main roster. So no, she lost a match to Live Valkyria, at the start of the year. And then before that was on the main roster, doing live shows and Rumble and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, 2025, just healthy, Shotzi. Maybe a feud with Tatum or Gigi. I don't know. I will be honest.
Yeah.
This whole storyline with the trios thing is not really that interesting to me. Like I like Fatal Influence. I'm not sure I necessarily like the trio of Gigi, Tatum, and Shotzi.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like a lot of these. We've said it before on the previous video. A lot of these women are just part of stables, but then they don't know how to go off and be on their own. Whereas Shotzi, she's not in a stable, but she also doesn't have the character.
Yeah. It's just a tank.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. And it's just, if she gets the character and they do get behind her a little bit, then there's probably something there, but I'm not optimistic for 2025 unless she stays healthy anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. So moving on from Shotzi then, we're going to someone who definitely does count for this list, and someone who I think's got a huge uptick to him. It is, of course, the Sunshine Surfer herself, Sol Ruka. Cowabunga, dude.
Never do that again.
What, Cowabunga, dude?
Oh, God, he did it again.
No, Sol Ruka is probably the standout for me in terms of like the PC class of this year. She started off a bit rough, but she's found her own thing. She's a surfer now, which is a character gimmick, I guess. It's probably true to her as well, which is the main thing. And I think she's got a good upside to her. I think she's a good wrestler as well. Like her ring is not, it ain't shabby or anything. Like it's not the best either, but it's pretty good. Her finisher, it's probably the best thing about her. Really, it kind of is out of nowhere now. But before it was like, okay, you stand in this specific area while I go to the corner, and I'll do it now this way. Whereas now it's a sort of I'll run and do it, and it's like it can be at any time, and I like that about it. But yeah, it's next year for Sol Ruka. She's not been champion yet, has she? Yeah, I think North American champion. Just somewhere between Fatal Influence, Hot Potato in it. She's also in there. Hot Potato in it.
I think she is the prime example of where NXT works. Because, like you said about going into depth about a finisher being, it used to have to be proper choreographed, and now it can just happen.
Yeah.
That's proof that what they're doing in NXT works, and that sometimes NXT is just the best place to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, she is probably, as you said, the best of the recent class coming out of the PC, which shows you that the work they're doing there is good as well. But yeah, the good thing about her is the gimmick is true to her, a bit like Darby Allin with his skateboarder stuff. Obviously, she's not going to ride a surfboard to the ring, which is quite safe, so I quite like it.
I would like to see her ride a surfboard to the ring.
Can you imagine?
How would that work?
I don't know, but I feel like the place to do that would be like SummerSlam, and just get like a wave pool as her entrance. Just have a ride down to the ring.
Just somehow bring in a tidal wave to go down the ramp, and then she just like.
But you can do that, like when you go to them water theme parks and you get on like them bodyboards with the wave pool. Yeah, I bet you could do that. WWE would pay for that.
Yeah.
I bet there's a way you could do.
I mean, her on main roster, a Mania entrance for her could be insane.
Yeah. She'll end up doing the what was the program called? Oh my God, where do all lifeguards? Baywatch.
Oh, right.
You do like a Baywatch style entrance.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no, she's really good. I do agree that she will probably get somewhere in between all of these other title runs we've given out a title run.
You know what? I don't think we've said anyone. Have we said anyone to take the world title other than Julia?
From Roxanne.
Yeah.
I was going to say I think it's Julia, and then I think what happens is Julia Oba holds it for a while.
Yeah.
and then whoever takes it off him is truly the person who deserves it. I don't think we're going to get a lot of different world title runs next year across both men's and women's.
No, I agree with that. I think that's why the quote unquote mid card title will get more of a shift around.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily great, but it stops. Imagine if you had title holders across everything, even your mid card just being held for ages.
But yeah.
You can't have it.
I feel like the world title can be held for a long time from someone, and
should be.
Yeah, because it makes them seem like a threat. It makes them seem like they deserve to be there.
Yeah, sometimes the only thing I agree with, and I think I alluded to it on the last one, is when you are not wanting someone to beat someone for it, so you have a transitional champion in the middle.
Yeah. Again,
Ethan
Page was transitional for Trick to Trick.
Yeah, we don't. Well, we'll come to Trick Wave.
Yeah, we will, absolutely we will, because that is its episode, and it might take me an hour to get through it. So moving on from Sol Ruka, we go on to this is me. This is you starting, isn't this one?
Yeah, this is me. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is who I believe it could be the one to dethrone Julia, and that is, of course, Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah, so the problem is I want a long title reign, and I feel like if Vaquer goes straight after her, it ain't going to be a long title reign, and they will maybe hot potato it between the two of them. Because for me, out of all the women on the roster, these two are the ones that are ready-made world champions.
Yeah.
So you could argue that either of them could have it. So if they don't hot potato it, one of them gets ruined by the fact that the other one keeps beating them. So I agree that she's probably the one to beat Julia, but I think they're building her to go after Julia quite soon. And that's not what I'd like to see. So, yes, I think she will be a world champion, but if Julia is the one that's beating Roxanne, I don't want Vaquer near that title until 2026.
That's also fair enough. I think with Stephanie Vaquer, we've got a chance to have something that I want to say is quite unique in NXT, in that the stand deliver match will be between two people whose stars were already made before they came to NXT.
Yeah.
Like Roxanne Perez, as I said before, her star rose in stock in NXT. Like Shayna Baszler, her star rose in NXT. Asuka, you could argue Japan had an influence on that, but for a more Western audience, it was NXT. Her time in NXT did that for her, and her ridiculous 500-day undefeated streak, whatever it was.
Yeah.
With Stephanie and Julia, the names are already there, as you said. And the program is sort of already there as well. In that they've not shown it particularly, but it is there should they want to delve into it. In that Julia is the one getting showcased, not Vaquer. And Vaquer could feel animosity to that, or envy of that, because she wants that limelight, because she feels that she deserves it. And my prediction for next year is not a year-long feud, but they're bitter rivals throughout the entirety of next year. So, to put in comparison, like a Cody Roman situation. That is Vaquer and Julia. Like, not feuding the entire way through the year, but they might have 2 or 3 matches throughout the year that are not hot potato title, but maybe Julia retains the first time, the second time Vaquer's smarter to it now, and she might win it at the halfway point, and then she might hold it towards the end of the year, and then she retains it against Julia, and in between they have other challenges building up. So Lola Vice's, Jada Parker's, Sol Ruka's, it's a very strong division that they've got, and they can build upon that as well, with the green up talents as well, that they can bring up and be in a certain light as well to come up in this roster. It's the strongest roster in in wrestling, really.
Yeah. The women's roster in NXT is insane.
Yeah.
And having the three main ones that they've got up there now is only good for every other woman around them to develop and work with. Because sometimes you only get one in a roster that's good, and they can't work with everyone.
Mm.
We've got three here who can work with different people, and it's good for NXT, and it's good for the women that are there. But yeah, I don't want them to visit it too soon. You could have, when you said about Cody Roman, and you look at sometimes with going back to like the Attitude Era with Rock and Austin, didn't fight all the time, but when he did, it meant something.
Yeah, but I think,
and you could always do that.
I think Stand and Deliver is when it happened the first time, and then I think after that they're not gonna do it for a little bit after that. You know, like I think.
Do you think it'll be triple threat at Stand and Deliver?
No.
I
think Roxanne's moving on. I think Roxanne's losing at New Year's Evil, and we're getting the full-on Julia Vaquer match at Stand and Deliver, because that's gonna burn the house down.
Yeah.
Like,
I just think triple threat would be good anyway.
No, I do as well, but I just don't think it's on the cards.
No.
I think Roxanne's part of that transfer portal thingy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vaquer again, all positive. Ruka, all positive. Roxanne, all positive. It goes to show you what the NXT Women's Division is, and how it's booked.
Best women's division in wrestling.
Absolutely.
And it's not close.
No. There isn't. Actually, no, there isn't. No. So we're going to skip past now Stevie Turner, because management. She might go into doing a few matches next year. We don't know. We can't just predict that really, though. Because it's just... Why?
Exactly.
So moving on to the T section now of this. We're getting close to the end. It is the other half of Hank and Tank. Tank Ledger.
So, one is not the same without the other. I feel like we went to this the first time when we did Hank. I feel like they just need to stay as a tag team. And yeah, they're a good tag team. For me, they have nothing if they split. So, yeah, 2025, I think we'll just see Hank and Tank up and around the tags. Wouldn't be disappointed if they held the title, because they're not bad. So, yeah, I can see them winning it. Maybe even as transitional, if that's the way they want to go. But they could definitely hold tag titles, and it wouldn't be... You wouldn't look at them and think, how have they got the tags? That's how I view Hank and Tank, is that they're there. They don't do an awful lot, but they're not bad, and you could view them as champions. I think it says more about NXT needs a stronger tag division.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed if they became tag champs.
That's fair enough, yeah. I don't know if Hank and Tank, or say Tank Legend in particular, because this is what you say, like, you can't mention one without mentioning the other. They're pretty much joined at the hip at this rate, the way things are.
Yeah.
Tank is the better character of the two of them. He's the one who's a bit more kooky, a bit more crazy. It's very much like, and I'm not sure if I said this in the first video now, I can't remember, but I see Hank and Tank like a heavy machinery sort of tag team.
You did say this in the first video, yeah.
So I see him like Otis and Tucker, and I don't want a split to happen, because it shouldn't happen, at least not now anyway. So next year, I think they win tag titles, but I see them winning it in a fluky way. Like, I could see a 3 or 4 way tag team match where they just sort of win it by surprise.
Yeah.
And then they start having a fluke title reign, and then they lose it to a more established team, like an NQCC or a Family or something like that. But, yeah, Hank and Tank, tag champ probably next year. And I'm here for it, and I'm here for the promos that they do with the titles. But yeah, that's me on Tank Ledger. So, moving on, we are now going to visit the final part of the trio in the women's division. That's sort of makeshift. It is, of course, Tatum Paxley. How do I be diplomatic about this one? I think she's good, wrestling-wise. I just think the character relies a bit too much on being a certain way. I completely understand it if that is what she likes and what she believes in and stuff, but these sort of characters don't do much for me. And that's me personally, in my opinion. Tatum, her in-ring's good, her character needs work, because they're always sort of like flip-flopping with how her character is. Does she have friends? Does she not have friends? Do I need friends? I don't need friends. Do I need friends? I need friends.
Yeah.
Just pick a lane. Stick with it. Like, next year, Tatum is probably doing more of that stuff. She might go TNA for a bit. I don't know. I don't see her raising stock enough for title next year.
Yeah, I know you were diplomatic about it and everything, but I'm not a massive Tatum Paxley fan, so I will be less diplomatic about it. I think once this is all over, because that is what we're saying it will be, there's no way that they're all going to stick together. I think Tatum Paxley gets lost.
Yeah.
There's too many, and we've discussed it how strong the women's roster is. There's too many good women on this roster that are better than Tatum Paxley. And I think that's why she gets lost. Not that she isn't talented or anything like that, I just don't think she's talented as 6, 7, maybe 8 others.
Yeah. But also, it's not even like
That
she's...
is
Isn't even like she's new to it. You know, she's been in NXT a little bit. And there's people who come in after her who are now above her in ranking. Like, I don't mean like Stephanie or Julia. I mean, because they were already higher than everyone else. Like, I mean, people like the Jada Parkers and Lola Vices who came in at a certain time, after Tatum did, and weren't necessarily known, and they've raised the stock enough already that they've surpassed Tatum.
Yeah.
So, again, it's nothing against Tatum. You know, prove us wrong. You know, have a breakout year next year. Win the Women's World title. Like, just prove us wrong, you know, and we will be proven wrong.
Wins it by roll-up, pins Julia.
Can you imagine?
All of our grand plans are ruined.
The dual threat stand deliver. Julia.
Yeah.
Care. Tatum.
Good God.
Sorry, again, no, it's nothing against Tatum.
No.
It's just the idea of her character, that's all. So moving on from Tatum, quite swiftly, we go to the third part of the NQCC, Tavian Heights.
Yeah, I think obviously we've said this many times now already, but we have sort of touched on him, and he does. I don't know. He's a very good wrestler, but again, I just don't see what happens for him going forward, because the NQCC is obviously built around Charlie Dempsey, and he is the focal point. So I think he's in 2025. The NQCC will probably stick together, and Tavian Heights will probably keep doing what he's doing now, which isn't a bad thing. But hopefully, they throw him something where he can get something that's going to help him when the NQCC isn't the NQCC anymore. Because I think that's when you're in a group like that, you're looking at the end of it and being like, right, okay, this isn't going to last forever. So what happens to me when this is over? Just that's how I'd look at it if I was anyone in a group in a wrestling company. I'd be like, right, I'm doing this now, that's fine, what happens at the end of it? How do I come out of this with the best chance to make it? And that's what he needs to be asking that question. Like, what am I going to be doing once this is done? Potentially in 2025, they're going to break up. Teams don't tend to last that long. And NQCC have been around for a little bit now. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to him, and he's got a lot to offer. But what that is another case of, until they try and do something with him individually, you don't know.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I think I'm on a slightly different path in regards to what I think. Tavian is a great wrestler. He has got a style that really appeals to me because, as we know, I like technical wrestling. And he very much is a technical wrestler. However, I think his path in 2025 is not as concrete as the NQCC. He was the guy who they sort of like bought into the group. Like, he was the guy who they were they actively recruited into it. Like, after the previous regime of the NXT was got rid of. I personally just think his future is main roster. I think he's there already. I don't think he needs NXT. And I would stick him in American Made. Put him with Gable and the Creeds, because he fits that, to me, like a glove.
Yeah.
Like, this kick-ass group of, former Olympians or high school wrestling champions or whatever. Like, I don't know. Tyrion Heights is amazing for me. Like, in-ring, really good, and with someone like Gable as your leader, you don't need to have the character or need to have the mic skill. Like, just go out there and wrestle, and that's your job. Go out there, wrestle, and put on a fucking show, because that's what you can do, Tavian Heights.
The problem is, when you start listing people as Olympians and stuff like that, you're automatically putting yourself in the Kurt Angle bracket, and none of them are Kurt Angle.
Oh, no, of course not. That's why I didn't Kurt Angle.
I would be very careful about start bringing, like, Olympians and stuff up if you go into main roster. I don't think, unless you are as good or better than Kurt Angle was, you are just setting yourself up for a downfall. Like, you're setting yourself up.
Yeah.
But I do agree that he would essentially fit quite well into there, but how they're branded would have to be very particular to not pigeonhole them into a Kurt Angle bracket.
Oh, no, that's fair. I don't think they say like they're Olympians or anything like that. But I don't think they have that pretense in their heads that they're as good as or.
No, but you know how WWE think.
Yeah.
They could very easily go down that route, and whether they think it or not, that it's going to ruin them. From my perspective, I think if you just start bringing up Olympians, you're not as good as Kurt Angle.
No, of course.
So,
I think as soon as saying gold medals, gold medalists, that's where they're going to be like, oh, but you're not Kurt Angle. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, don't get me wrong, Kurt Angle nowadays, fucking who? But, like, prime Kurt Angle.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a bit harsh on Kurt Angle to say who.
just current day. I mean, he couldn't hold a flame to his former self.
No, but he's not wrestling now, so that's harsh.
This is not about Kurt Angle. Let's move on. Did you have any more comments on Tavian Heights before we move on?
No. I'm happy with what we came up with.
Cool. So we're sticking with T for now. We go into the final part of Chase University, or former Chase University. It is Thea Hale. This is me, isn't it?
Yes.
So I said before, Riley was the biggest spark of the group. I think Thea is the other spark in a different sense, in that I think she has the best character of the group. she's been this little ball of energy, like not like Brindley Reese. It's like more like a crazy energy, and in a positive way, she influences her teammates to be the best they can be. Her wrestling is all right. She needs more work in that department. So next year, I think she might get a few title shots, but she won't win anything. And again, it draws a question about what they're going to do with Chase U going forward as well, because I don't think she's ready for the main roster. I don't think any of them are, to be honest. But I don't think Thea is. And yeah, I just think NXT for her going forward, improve yourself and get a character. Or progress a character, sorry.
It's so annoying that what they did with Chase U, because I thought Chase U was good. And it was just like, why have that stipulation? That was just, yeah. I didn't understand why they did it, but yeah, with Thea, I think I agree. She's probably just going to be fodder around the championships. She's not going to win one, but she'll be there or thereabouts. And then it's just about, like you said, just developing a little bit more, getting a little bit better. 2026 could be a better year for Thea Hale if 2025 she does what we've just talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will go ahead and move on then, and we'll go to the patriarch of the family, Tony D'Angelo, the current NXT Men's North American champion.
Yeah. So Tony D is probably, I think, right now ready for main roster. I think he could move, take this character up, because there's nothing there really like it, and it work. He's very good in the ring. He's got a very good character, and I think a lot of that is half the battle when it comes to going to the main roster. Because you find that a lot of people who just get moved up who aren't ready, they have one and not the other, whereas I think Tony D's got both. The Heritage Cup stuff's great. I all round, I'm a massive fan of Tony D, and I think in 2025 he should be moved up to the main roster.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't think he's the only one in the family that could get called up, or at least is ready to get called up. However, I don't think he should, because as you said, as we listed before, if he goes up, they all go up, and three of them aren't ready for it.
Yeah.
I think he has got a good base, and I think, you know what? Yeah, no, actually, yeah. Now I'm actually thinking more on it. He's going to be just one of the main thorns in Ober's title reign as men's NXT world champion, but he'll lose this time to Ober. And now we had to go about it. Like, Tony couldn't beat him clean because it was like stipulations and stuff like that. Whereas Ober can beat him clean in a one-on-one standard affair. Yeah, I think next year for Tony is going to be he loses the title at some point and becomes probably the main person in Ober's title reign who doesn't win a title from Ober.
That's fair. I
think we get like full evidence. Like they might allegedly kidnap Ober, yeah, or they might fine dine him at the restaurant or something. But
fine dine.
You know what I mean? But just I think we do a few segments like that with Tony's family and Ober, but ultimately,
yeah,
Tony's not winning the world title next year. The year after, maybe, if he ain't called up.
Yeah, maybe. But I just think Tony D, is ready set for the main roster. But yeah, as you said, if one goes, they all go, and three of them aren't ready. So
yeah. Moving on to Oh boy. The next entry on this list, the current, and this is one I'm starting with as well, which is horrible. Starting the current NXT Men's World Champion, Trick Williams.
Hey, let's go, DP.
How do I say this? He is a manufactured superstar. He is the not subject. He is the thing WWE are trying to throw at us to be like, hey, like this guy. Yeah. There he is. Look, there he is right there. Look, like him.
Yeah.
He's not world champion level. He hasn't been ever. Even as champion, he does not elevate the title, nor the title elevate him. He's just the guy who holds the title. It's equivalent to like. Do you remember during the Black and Gold era, a guy called Leon Ruff?
Yeah.
Holding the North American title for, I think it was like 21 days or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That to me is like the same level of impact that Trick has with that title as what Leon Ruff did with North American title. Like, he's a flash in the pan. He's a flavour of the month. Like, it's just, I don't know why they've taken a liking to this guy. Personally, I don't think he has charisma. I don't think he has a character. I don't think he can. His wrestling's not even that brilliant, to be honest with you. Like, he was a hype man, henchman, bodyguard, whatever, for Carmelo Hayes. And then, if it was like at that point, if I was like, oh, Trick he's so good, or he's a future star, or he's this, he's that, whatever. He's not any of that. He's the henchman. At the time, I mean. And then he proceeded to have 2 bad matches with Carmelo Hayes. Something that shouldn't be feasible. A Carmelo Hayes bad match. That's not on Carmelo.
Yeah.
Because Carmelo can kill it with anyone.
Yeah.
That's not on Carmelo. That's on Trick. So, yeah. I've done a whole rant before on the channel about Trick Williams, so I'm not going to go fully into it. It's just... Next year for Trick Williams, main roster, get the fuck away from my screen. Just fuck off.
Go and wrestle for less than 15 minutes on the main roster, mate.
Exactly. Go fight... I don't know, who's on main roster that you can fight? Go on,
Carmelo.
Go... Yeah. Go get demolished by Drew McIntyre or CM Punk or something.
Or any of the other legends that you've made friends with recently.
Yeah. Bully Ray. Forget Trick's name too.
It's... Yeah, I'm with you on Trick. There's just nothing there for me. It's just like... You know, he gets the Roman Reigns treatment in NXT, is what he gets. Remember they tried to force him down the throats.
Yeah.
But then, are they doing it to try and get the same outcome as what we've now got with Roman Reigns?
I hope not, because Roman had at least a base level of wrestling and in-ring ability.
True.
Like, Trick doesn't really have that. Like, Trick does a few moves, rests, big knee, pin. Like, there's a rest period in his matches. In Trick matches, I mean.
Yeah.
Where either he's gassed, I don't know, or he just can't go as long as you would expect a world champion to be able to go. Like, again, it doesn't help. Last champion before him was Carmelo, and before that Ilya, 2 phenomenal talents, and then it goes to Trick Williams. Even Page wasn't the greatest at the time, and he was transitional for Trick the Trick. So,
I mean, like you said, we could sit here and like bash Trick
Yeah.
for as long as this episode is.
Yes.
We do have quite a lot to say about him, but we're not going to get anywhere by doing it. So everyone knows that we don't like Trick. He needs to go to the main roster, and then he can go somewhere else after that.
Yeah, that's fair. That is, yeah. Go me roster for a bit, pal, and just see how you fare there, and watch how the crowd are dead silent for you. So after this, we're going to move on. We're going to skip past Tyra May Steele, because I believe she is just starting out in the PC. Do you want to go over DpuizY and Tyson DuPont?
No, not really.
Okay. So we will skip past them because they've only been on TV for a little bit, and it's not really a longevity thing for them right now. Like, if we do it again next year, this video, then absolutely they'll be part of it. But right now, no. We'll skip past Uriah Connors or Brogan Finley, because again, just level up guy, hasn't really done anything on TV. So that's part of this list, and it is onto W now. So we are very close to the end. It is Wendy Chu.
Is this me?
Yeah.
I am not a fan of Wendy Chu. Like, the whole thing, the whole act, the character, I don't even think she's that good in the ring either. I would say she's one of the weaker elements of the women's division. So, for me, the 2025 of Wendy Chu is don't be on my TV.
Yeah. Which is ironically what I said about Trick.
Yeah. Yeah, the ending of this video is not great.
I think it'll get better, I think. But it's just right now we're in a period where it's not the greatest. I'm in the same lane as you with Wendy Chu. I said it with Tatum Paxley. I'm not a fan of this particular kind of gimmick. Where it's like, it's not really there, but it's sort of devilish. It's a little demon-esque. Where it's like, oh, there's a other being, maybe. Or I'm dark and spooky. Look at me.
Yeah.
Wendy, I like that she incorporates the sleepy gimmick, more used to, in her moveset. Now she's just sort of plain. When she was face and like in the pink like comfy onesie thing, that was more fun, a character. Like sort of like a slowpoke, like Pokemon, like it's just like nowadays it's just sort of weird. I don't really get it.
No, it doesn't make sense. That's it. It just doesn't make sense. And how many times do we see these creepy like gimmicks and stuff in any wrestling company, and they just don't translate how you want them to on TV?
Yeah. The only one that I would argue has, like historically, is Undertaker.
Yeah.
And maybe a more modern example would be like Bray Wyatt or The Fiend.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really think any of us are translated as well as they would have wanted it to.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard.
So moving on from Wendy Chu, we will go on to the former Rascal, Wesley. Wesley is a light heavyweight who thinks he's a heavyweight. I think Wes is really good. Don't be wrong. In the ring, I think he's really good. I think he's got a lot of good ability. It's just his character is a little stale. There should have been more after him essentially killing Zachary Wentz on PLE. There should have been more to follow that, and then he just sort of did nothing after that. It's the whole Rich Holland situation. Do something big, and then do nothing. Wesley's a victim of it. It's a shame to say, but yeah, Wesley next year he might get a hot potato reign of the North American title. Potentially, I guess, because that's the booking. But again, he's in a weird limbo, like a lot of the other guys on this level who's not Femi.
Yeah, I agree when it comes to Wes. I think he's a very good wrestler, but yeah, you compared him a little bit with like Ogre and stuff like that. In terms of like what he does and the aura that he has and things like that. Wesley is a very, very, very good wrestler. I just think the character itself needs a bit more work. 2025 will be interesting for Wesley. He can go. For me, he's one of them who can go one way or the other. Like, he can either be absolutely fantastic and every single match is amazing, or he could fall off a cliff completely. I don't know what it is, but he strikes me as, like, not as a character, but just as a person who, if he's in the moment and he wants it, he's very good. But if he's having like a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, he could be self-destructive.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong, but just that's how it comes across to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that is the main thing about predictions too, is that they are just that, predictions.
Yeah.
So they could literally...
I'm not trying to say... I'm not trying to say... Not that he's ever going to see this, but I'm not trying to say that Wesley is a self-destructive human being who goes off and does stuff that he shouldn't do. That is not what I'm saying, but the way it comes across from what we see on TV, and I just think when he's bad, and when he's good, he's really, really good.
Yeah.
What I want from Wes is consistency and a little bit more to the character.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think for next year? Just some like more the same.
Yeah, I think he's not doing badly, but there's just a little bit more that he needs. I think if he went to the main roster as this Wesley, he'd get lost.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, moving on from Wesley, we are going to go to the true leader of the Ren QCC. It's Ren Sinclair. Ren Sinclair. This is me?
Yeah. No, me.
Okay.
So Ren is I really like Ren Sinclair. I think her in ring work is solid. And she does for when we talk about characters and stuff like that. I actually think she has one. She's found a voice in the NQCC, and I think if the NQCC was to disband for whatever reason, I actually think she comes out of it better than the other three. I think this has really helped establish her, and that's what we say about when women get into these stables. They need to be able to come out with something that sets them aside and they can be on their own. And she is, for me, a classic example of that working.
Yeah.
If she come out, you could put her in either title picture and she wouldn't look out of place. And I think in 2025, probably going to be a mid-card champion.
Oh, another one.
So it's gonna hot potato between 5 people now.
That's 5 people of this video. There's probably one or two more that we also included in the first one.
Yeah. I think she could. I mean, not necessarily that she is, but I would predict. I'd be a lot more confident in predicting her to be a mid-card champion than I would in maybe any you've said.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I fully agree as well. Yeah, she is technically sound. Like I knew of her before she was in NXT. Like she was on the Indies. Like, and she was a good wrestler then. So I'm not surprised that she's improving her range here. And she's with the best group to do it as well. She's with the technical group. Like, but it's just little things here and there you see in matches that she does where she incorporates something new that she's learned from someone else, and it's just that sort of growth that you see.
Yeah.
And it's not often that you see it on TV. Like, every now and then someone might bust out a new move every now and then. With Ren, it's almost a match-by-match basis that something new is introduced to her moveset.
Yeah.
And she can normally hit it perfectly as well.
What you'll find when you've got the bigger range as well, like she's learning, is that every move will have its place. So she might do like a DDT or something and like the super kick is massively overused. She might do a DDT in one match, but then in the next match she might just do like a belly to back suplex or something like that. And then when she gets to the stage where she's in the main event and she's wrestling for 20-30 minutes, everything will be done once rather than everything being repeated, which is what we see now in a lot of the main events across every company.
Yeah.
Because they pigeonhole themselves to 8 to 10 moves, but then they have like 40 minutes to do them, and then you'll see everything twice. The only moves that should ever be hit twice in a wrestling match are finishes. Signatures, maybe. And if you're like Brock and you're a suplex machine, then yes, fair enough.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar is just going to suplex the shit out.
But that was established that way, that he would just suplex you over and over.
Yeah. It's not because that's all he knows, but that is what the character is.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, super kicks, man. Oh.
It's really overused. But on that note of like signatures being the moves that you can repeat, I'm telling you, if Adam Cole is busting out more than one panel sunrise per match, I'm gonna be throwing fists. Like, like I don't need to see this move over and over. Like, second rope to fucking King Destroyer. Like, I don't need that.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
But Red Sinclair, phenomenal character as well. Her character is insane. I'd say she's the best character of the NQCC. In the way that she bounces off people as well. Like, she hypes up Tavian and Miles, and she sort of follows Charlie. It's a very clear difference in the way that she is around different people, and like we've seen it even before, like with other characters who aren't in the NQCC. Like, she willingly gave Javon Evans a Heritage Cup shot against Charlie Dempsey. All because she liked the way he talked, or something like that. Yeah, like it was something he said basically that made her like, oh, actually, you deserve a shot. It's just little things that keep adding on to the character, and it makes Ren so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I think next year, North America title.
It's going to be one of the 12 mid-card title holders.
I would do something maybe a little bit different, because I don't know. I don't think you can do it on TV, at least in America. But I would have Ren be the first Heritage Cup holder who's female. I wouldn't introduce a Women's Heritage Cup, because that's going a bit too far.
I was just going to say, are you advocating for the Women's Heritage Cup?
I don't think there's enough women who wrestle that style to do that.
Yeah.
Like, on the men's side of things, there's enough men who do it. So it's like you can get by it. On the women's side, there's not enough. So I would advocate for Ren competing against the men, because I genuinely think I think she could do it.
I would maybe even advocate for her to next year, and it ain't going to happen. But I like her that much that she should win next year's Women's Iron Survivor.
Yeah, literally, and the story's there because of how she was in this year's one.
Mm-hmm.
The story's there, absolutely. So yeah, again, all positive on Ren Sinclair.
We are high on Ren Sinclair, which is something I wasn't aware of coming in. So
she's just really good.
Yeah.
And of course, we will skip past Yoshiki Inamura. We could go into his indie career in Japan and in BritWres, but there's no point.
No. He's
had like one match, I think, on TV. It might only be one match. I don't know if he was in that match or not. Oh, he was. It was that Tassie Battle Royal thing. He was in that with Josh Briggs. Other than that, he's done nothing in NXT, so we're going to get past him. And the final person on this list, the Z of this alphabet. It hadn't guessed already, there's something wrong with you, because there's only one's the best on the roster. It is, of course, Bully Ray, Zarya. Right. Who started Vince Sinclair?
Me.
Okay. So, Zarya, I don't know much about her in regards to her time before NXT. From what I've seen on NXT, she's a good wrestler. The character is not what I thought it would be. She's very casual, very relaxed in how she is. Like, she's very friendly as well, which is not what I thought she was going to be. She was like showcased as like this like Mad Max sort of character, where it was like, oh, the road to the apocalypse goes through Zarya, like, and it was like, I'm on the road to the apocalypse. I am the apocalypse.
Yeah, and now she's just a chill guy.
Yeah. Hand pockets, just chill.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Zarya is good. It's just I think character needs a bit more work because right now she's just a person who chills around backstage, who could kick ass though. Next year, maybe another North American person. Yeah, screw it. Throw it to the mix. Just add her to the never-ending part of women who are going for this North American title.
We're gonna be right about something.
We are. Just throw everyone in there. Someone's bound to stick.
Yeah. I am let down by what I believed Zarya was going to be to what she is, and I really think, like you said, like the apocalypse goes through me and all that stuff. If she'd have been super serious about it and carried on around that and just wasn't chill guy and all that and was just full on like monster, this works. Like, why did that have to stop?
Like,
I feel shortchanged.
Sorry, do you remember Zarya's debut? She came out and she stared at people menacingly.
Yeah.
Not the SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to that Zarya?
Yeah. Like, she debuted like twice in the same night. She was like at the end of one match, then at the end of another. And I was like, she's just going to be absolutely batshit.
Yeah. And I thought, do the running gag of her just coming out on NXT TV and just staring at people just for a few weeks. Like,
yeah.
Like, I want to face you. And it's like, stares at Roxanne, stares at Julia, stares at Vikir, stares at Sol Ruka, stares at Ren Sinclair, stares just everyone just stares at them, like.
Yeah.
But no, she's just a chill person backstage. She's just, hey, how's your day going? You doing okay?
Yeah, the character's really shortchanged me.
So yeah, hopefully that improves. But who knows? It might work. It might work to her advantage if she's going to be a face. So we'll see. Yeah. But have you any more comments on Zarya?
No, not really. I feel like 2025 is just going to be, unless the character changes, in terms of she just needs to be a badass, in my opinion. I just think it will always be a letdown.
That's fair. But yeah, with that in mind, that Zarya was the last person on this list, so that does bring an end to this Hot or Not predictions list. I still haven't got a title for this. But thank you for tuning in.
We've recorded 2 videos. You cannot change the title that you have now.
No, I'm not going to. But I'm saying like for next year or whatever. Let's just or if we do a different version of this with a different roster. Just yeah. Again, so thank you for tuning into this video. If you like the video, feel free to give it a like. Share it with your friends, comment down below, say what you disagreed with, what you did agree with. Did we miss anyone on the NXT roster who's on TV? Because these lists that we use could be wrong. There is a possibility of that. And yeah, if you feel so inclined, please subscribe. It's all free. It hurts nobody, and it helps us get towards our goals. In regards to outlets, and all that. It's all below, bottom of the screen. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or X, and Blue Sky, because Blue Sky is the cool, hip and happening thing.
Is Blue Sky the new Threads?
Blue Sky is a better Threads.
Okay.
Blue Sky is the alternative to Twitter or X, essentially.
Right.
And it's very, from what I've seen, it's more positive than what Twitter or X is.
Fair.
But Frozzy, where can people find you?
People can find me in this video because I am here live and in living colour. You can find me at On Me Head Son Pod 1 for my football soccer podcast. You can find me at Frozzy89 on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer.
You remember this?
Yeah, I did. I prepared. But yeah, imagine having to plug yourself and then forgetting everything about yourself. Yeah, but yeah, you can find us there. We are looking to get going again soon. So if you're into your football, go and check us out. But yeah, appreciate you letting us come back on to the second part of DP, and hopefully we'll get together again soon.
Absolutely, I don't see why we wouldn't. So once again, thank you for tuning in. I have been DP, this has been Frozzy, and we will be bidding you adieu.